Hey everyone, I'm Ryan and you're watching 60 Cycle Hum, and in this video I'm going to attempt to fix my busted Katana 50. I fried this thing. You can go watch the previous video where I talk about what I did. Basically I left the speaker unplugged and turned the amp on. The wires might have been touching or they might have just been sitting free, I don't know, but that fried it. It wouldn't output to the speaker anymore. It does output through the headphone jack. So anyways, I was asking for tips and advice, and a lot of you recommend I go check out this post on V-Guitar forums where people were talking about replacing the power amp chip, which is this little guy right here that was attached to this great big heat sink. So I ordered 2 of those chips, an extra one just in case I really fouled one up. They're only a couple bucks. I got them off of eBay, but there's a bunch of places you can get them. To get this thing off the heatsink, I had to use a Dremel to cut one of the screws, which was interesting because the screws were all gunked up with some sort of lock nut sort of gunk. So I'm gonna have to replace one of those screws or just wing it with one screw when I put this thing back together. It's a 12-pin chip on here. I'm really not feeling confident with my soldering skills. I tend to muck up frickin' pit guards when I wire them together. This stuff is close together and it's just slight little bits of solder. I did buy a new soldering iron. I bought a Heiko. What's the model number here? The FX888D was recommended by a bunch of people. So we'll see if that changes my soldering game. I'm honestly predicting that I'm going to completely brick this thing here in this session. So we'll see. We will see if I have the skills to actually pull this off. To even just replace the part, who knows if it's actually the part that is broken. If this is it and I can get it in there, maybe it'll work again. I don't know. There's a lot of people who made some very nice offers to me. Boss themselves offered to have me send this back to them to attempt a repair on it. But after the response from my last video about this, I figured that it's in my best interest to try to do this on my own. I think it's going to be a fun little journey for myself and for you guys, the audience. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna start trying to desolder this 12-pin chip in here. I do have a solder sucker. I know people were just sitting there waiting to ask or waiting to recommend a solder sucker to me. I've got one. Let's get started. Well, everybody, I messed around with it for a little while. I got all the pins trimmed off of the original component and was able to get it free. I was hoping to be able to heat up that solder and push the pins through the other side and have open holes ready for me to push the new component in. And it just didn't happen. When I would heat up the little pins, I would be able to push them through and then they wouldn't fall all the way through, and I wasn't able to suck the solder free with the solder sucker here. It's just too small. Everything's too small for me really to get a grasp on it. And there's like this component that's like a bracket to hold in the chip, and it's in the way of me grabbing and desoldering from the other side. I just feel like this is too far out of my wheelhouse. I'm way out of my depth with this thing. I haven't made progress on a single pin, let alone 11 pins, just getting them out, let alone getting them in. So I'm going to shelf this thing for a while. I doubt I'm ever going to be able to get this thing working again by replacing this component. I just don't have the skill set. If you have the skill set, that's awesome. I'd love it if someone out there made a video doing this, showing how they accomplished it. As far as I can tell, the only other information is on that V Guitar forum. Maybe there's people in there who have had success doing this, but I just don't have the electronics experience to do this kind of soldering and desoldering. All right, well, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude, nasty comments. Leave me all kinds of suggestions and ideas down below. Who knows if this is even the correct component still? Like, I am way out of my depth with this. I keep saying that, but it's like I don't even have the knowledge or ability to go through and test components in here and figure out what functions and what's failed and things like that. I'm very much a simpleton when it comes to this stuff. All right, bye everybody.